All right, for more, we're joined now by tech expert Ahmed Banafa, professor of engineering at San Jose State University. Professor, it's good to see you. We appreciate the time. Let's talk about why we think President Trump is taking aim at Intel here. Are there legitimate concerns about national security if Intel CEO does, in fact, have a stake in Chinese companies that manufacture microchips?
Yeah, good to talk to you, Alex and Heather. Well, it's a bigger picture and a bigger story here. It's not just the investment in in the Chinese companies, because it's not illegal for Americans to invest in that. I mean, a lot of American companies, they have factories, they have employees in China, so they have investment there. It's the key thing here is Intel made a very strategic mistake or mistakes. Number one is they were not visible when everybody's talking about expanding and spending money about manufacturing in the United States. Actually, it's in the opposite. They announce layoffs, about 15% of the company. And also they talk about scaling down the manufacturing in certain states that's run by the Republicans. So that was trigger something, with the president, you going against the next, against us. And we haven't seen anybody from Intel in any of those White House conferences or press releases or press conferences. So they've been invisible. They misread the room. That's basically what happened.
But do you think that misreading the room, I mean, is there any truth to those suspicions, if you will?
Well, it's clear because the Congress did some kind of investigation, and they found out that the president of Intel has investment directly or through his firm. And the other thing is that the same thing, one of the media companies did the same thing, the investment. Now, the board of Intel knows about this. It's not like something which is new. It's the key thing here is that the fear here is that we are using this so we can pressure Intel to change their direction about layoffs, about not expanding, about not being on the same frequency as the White House. It is not about him having investment in China, because that's not new.
All right. So speaking of potentially this being the president trying to put some pressure on Intel here, we did late this afternoon get a statement from Intel in response to the president calling for the CEO to step aside here. And the statement, in essence, said that Intel, its board of directors, and the CEO are all deeply committed to advancing national and economic security interests and are making significant investments aligned with the president's America First agenda. What do you make of the wording there? Will a broad sort of commitment like that to invest in U.S. manufacturing be enough to kind of smooth over the tensions with President Trump?
Absolutely, because the key thing is that this is unusual, highly unusual to see the president of the United States going after the CEO of a private company. And we haven't heard that from Intel before. Now they understood the message. So for them to say that, okay, we're going to expand, we're going to invest more. Just look at Apple yesterday in the White House, $100 million. They brought a gift to the president with his name. All these kind of things, which could be under kissing the ring, issue. The whole thing about it is very important to make sure that you stay with the same policy. You don't go and and sing alone, away from the crowd here. And the president tweet or his social media post was really going after that.
Yeah. So, Professor, you were there in the heart of Silicon Valley. Does this kind of back and forth of the president going after such a big Silicon Valley giant, does it give other CEOs pause?
It's really scary. And I'll be honest with you guys. Intel is very close to my heart because my background in electrical engineering, and Intel, was one of the dream companies for anybody in the field. The key thing here is Intel was not doing good and still not doing good. And the new president trying to trim down the size, but he's now facing this kind of a challenge. So every CEO of the company, the big companies that visible in the economy, they have to make sure that they are really the same frequency as what the president or the White House is planning. Anything outside that, you're going to be in one of those posts.
All right. Up next here on the 4 this afternoon, Ahmed, we're going to have you hang tight because we're going to continue the conversation with you here on the other side of the break. But up next, we are going to focus the conversation on a major new initiative that was unveiled just today to train California's workforce for jobs in AI.
Yeah, coming up after the break, we'll discuss this brand new partnership announced today between California school systems and several major tech firms.
Today is an important day. It's a milestone, but it's also a recognition that the world, in many ways, we invented is now competing against us, and we've got to step up our game.
Governor Newsom joined with education and tech leaders at Google's San Francisco campus this afternoon to sign agreements that are meant to improve AI workforce education. Adobe, Google, IBM, and Microsoft all pledging to offer a variety of training and literacy programs across public education in the state. The chancellors of Cal State University and the state's community college system were also a part of this announcement today.
Okay, so we asked Ahmed Banafa to stick around to discuss this new initiative. Really appreciate your time, Professor. So how significant is this, and how do you believe that California students will benefit?
Well, this is good news. This is really good news all around. I mean, California has 33 of the top 50 AI companies in the world. I mean, California is leading when it comes to the AI policies. In 2024, the governor signed 18 AI-related bills. So we are a step ahead of the nation when it comes to AI. And it makes sense because I'll give you a very specific example, Heather, here. You're talking about Adobe. Adobe, what they're going to do, they're going to have their tools like the Adobe Express and the Firefly, and the AI literacy. Google will provide something called Prompt Essential for the student and generative AI for the educator. IBM is focused more on the career, so they're going to have something called IBM Skill Builds. And Microsoft, they're already in the market with a community college about AI and cybersecurity for the faculty. So what happened now, they bring them together and they have them in one program.
So, Professor, let me ask you, to sort of, look at it from the other perspective. What's the motivation for these tech companies to want to ensure that young people are AI literate here? How do they stand to benefit in the long term?
Well, it's good for both parties, for the companies because they're going to have a workforce that's ready with AI, because AI will not take your jobs. People who know how to use AI will take your job. That's basically the underlying here. For the students, we're talking about 9 to 12, and we're talking about community college and the CSU system. They're gonna build this kind of skills and fill that gap for the AI, because every time you talk about any kind of jobs, we're talking about automation, we're talking about AI skills. This kind of free tools and the big names here in the industry trying to help will give the workers the skills needed and will give the companies the workers with the skills.
Okay, so Professor, I mean, the importance of workers not only being familiar, but really knowledgeable with AI. Explain the importance of that.
We are moving towards AI in many things. Everything around you, you're going to see that you have your phone and there's an AI agent you can use, or AI software. I mean, I was in Safeway and I've seen a toothbrush. It's about $180. And when I ask why it's so expensive, it has AI in it, which basically understand your style. You have a mouse, the computer, which has an AI. So we're going to find it as part of everyday skills or everyday products. So in order for the current, students, whether it's from high school or the student in the CSU system, to be ready for this, they cannot just go through the traditional curriculum. AI has to be injected there and injected by companies like the 4 companies mentioned here.
All right. Finally, Professor, the governor said today that this partnership is also going to focus on making sure that schools and colleges ensure safe and ethical use of AI. Obviously, that's part of the broader discussion that we're having here as we move into the AI era here. How do you balance preparing students for careers in AI, making sure they have the skills to be able to get these jobs, but also at the same time making sure they are thinking critically about how the technology is being used?
Very good, important, Alex. Explainable, transparency about how AI works, and you have an agent like ChatGPT know exactly how it works, and also reject some kind of questions or therapy that people are seeking that's going to stop it. We would like to have a safe AI, and the governor is right about this, because this is where California will come into play, which is you have to have an ethical, transparent, AI products that will help. At the same time, it's not going to abuse the privacy of the users or of the workers or of the companies.
Yeah, so kind of teaching kids at a early age the importance of AI, and then also, everything that comes along with it.
The power of it.
Thanks so much, Ahmed Banafa. Really appreciate your time today. Thank you.